The Hells Angels were born in post-World War II America, specifically in Fontana, California, in 1948. The founding members were former fighter pilots and soldiers who couldn't adjust to civilian life. Otto Friedli is credited as one of the founding members, but the club really exploded under the leadership of Ralph "Sonny" Barger in Oakland during the 1950s and 60s. Barger transformed the Angels from a small biker gang into an international phenomenon, and he became the face of the club until his death in 2022. The Angels have a simple motto: 3 can keep a secret if 2 are dead. Meaning if you want to keep a secret safe, don't tell anyone, because once a third person knows, it's no longer a secret. In 1969, there was the infamous Altamont Free concert, where they were hired as security, and a man was stabbed to death right in front of the stage, because during the Rolling Stones performance, an 18-year-old black man named Meredith Hunter tried to get on stage. He was carrying a gun for self-defense. Seeing the weapon, a Hells Angel stabbed him to death, right in front of the crowd and cameras. Today, the Hells Angels remain the world's largest and most recognized outlaw motorcycle club, with an estimated 3,000 to 3,500 members worldwide. They've been designated as organized crime by multiple governments, but they continue to ride, recruit, and operate in that grey area between motorcycle club and criminal empire. Back in the 1980s, Los Angeles was a tough place to live, especially for young immigrants from El Salvador who had fled war and poverty. To protect themselves from other gangs and survive on the streets, they formed their own group. They called it Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13 for short. In the beginning, it was just a small group of friends who stuck together to stay safe and help each other survive. But over time, it grew into one of the most dangerous and feared street gangs in the world. Now let's talk about violence. Around 1989, MS-13 fought deadly wars with the Barrio 18 gang. During one of those fights, an MS-13 member was killed by someone from Barrio 18. After that, both gangs wanted revenge. One killing led to another, and soon it became a cycle of violence that never stopped. In 2004, a grenade attack inside an El Salvador prison killed 24 people. According to reports, members of the MS-13 gang launched a grenade attack targeting members of the rival Barrio 18 gang within the prison. Even as recently as 2025, in Guatemala City, where armed gunmen attacked a funeral of a Barrio 18 gang member. This violent act resulted in 7 deaths and 13 injuries. Let's rewind to the mid-1800s. Back then, Sicily was a pretty wild place. No proper laws, no strong government. When foreign rulers collapsed, chaos took over. Big landowners, known as barons, needed someone to protect their lands and money. That's where the so-called men of honor came in. These men were strong, respected, and feared. They offered protection to the landowners, promising to keep thieves away and handle disputes. But their protection came at a price. If you didn't pay them, you might suddenly find your farm burned or your family threatened. Slowly, these small groups of protectors grew in power. They created their own rules, their own justice system, outside the law. By the early 1900s, the Mafia expanded its reach into cities like Palermo. They ran construction companies, smuggled drugs, and got their hands on government contracts. During the 1970s and 80s, heroin trafficking made them incredibly wealthy. But that wealth came at a cost. It triggered a brutal war among themselves. That war was led by one of the Mafia's most ruthless bosses, Toto Riina, the head of the Corleonesi clan. Riina turned Cosa Nostra into a killing machine, wiping out rivals and even targeting judges and officials. Around 1979 to 1980, Riina ordered the murder of Stefano Bontade, one of the most powerful mafia bosses in Palermo. That killing was the first shot in the Mafia civil war. He wiped out entire bloodlines, including wives, sons, and cousins, to eliminate revenge threats. Bodies were often dissolved in acid or buried secretly to avoid police detection. Over 1,000 people were murdered during this period. In January 1993, after years in hiding, Toto Riina was finally captured in Palermo. He was sentenced to multiple life terms and died in prison in 2017. The year was 2010. When Ignacio Nacho Coronel, a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel, was killed, it created chaos within Mexico's criminal underworld. From that chaos, a man named Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho, saw his moment. El Mencho wasn't born into power. He grew up in poverty, picked avocados and dropped out of elementary school before illegally immigrating to the United States in the 1980s. After multiple arrests and deportation back to Mexico, he worked his way up through the Milenio cartel. But when his bosses were arrested or killed, El Mencho made his move. What makes CJNG terrifying isn't just their brutality, it's their military sophistication. They were the first cartel to shoot down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade. On May 1st, 2015, when authorities tried to capture El Mencho, CJNG responded by shooting down a police helicopter, killing 9 officers, then hijacking 39 buses and vehicles, setting them ablaze across western Mexico to block highways. In one attack in 2015, they killed 15 state police officers using high-caliber rifles, grenade launchers, and explosives. The Mexican government had never seen such coordination from a criminal group. The Ndrangheta was born in the rugged mountains of Calabria in the late 1800s. The organization is structured entirely around family clans called Ndrangheta. You can't join unless you're born into it or marry into it. Here's what makes the Ndrangheta different, is that they don't have one main boss in charge. Instead, they work like a group of connected family clans, mostly based in Calabria. Power is divided among the strongest families, and each one controls its own area. They do have a central group called La Provincia to help coordinate things, but real control stays with the local families. But the big question is, how did a small gang from rural Calabria grow into a global criminal empire? In the 1980s, the Ndrangheta quietly seized control of the European cocaine trade. They built direct connections with Colombian cartels and moved tons of cocaine through the port of Gioia Tauro. But they didn't stop there. They reinvested their drug money into legitimate businesses like construction, restaurants, and real estate across Europe. The Ndrangheta are extremely violent and dangerous. In 2007, they shocked Germany with the Duisburg massacre, where 6 men were killed outside an Italian restaurant because of a fight between rival clans.